What's up guys, David here and welcome to the Fit Pro Daily. This week we're going to talk about something different, which is your finances. I'm going to start this week off with inviting Daniel Förster on to talk about the Profit First formula. Now, if you don't know what the Profit First formula is, definitely go and check out that book. There is also a gym version book of it too, but before you actually go and purchase it, let's just dive into today's guest episode and get Daniel to tell us a little bit more about what it is, how it works and how we can implement it into our fitness business. But before we do dive into the episode, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure to do that by clicking that big red button below. By subscribing, you'll always be up to date with what's working when it comes to marketing your fitness business. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's special guest interview. Today we have Daniel on. Now, Daniel is currently based in Germany?
Yes, Berlin, Germany.
Good afternoon, Daniel, and welcome here in the UK. And I'm guessing we've got people all around the world listening as well. So if anybody doesn't know who Daniel is, Daniel's going to come on and talk about the Profit First formula. And I first actually met Daniel all the way in Cyprus on a fitness business mastermind retreat. And since then, we've kind of kept in touch. So welcome to this week's episode.
Great to be here.
So tell us a little bit more. How did you yourself get started in the fitness industry?
Well, so I'm not a fit pro. I'm not a fitness business guy per se. I'm a business coach. Now, I'm sure what you mean, like, you know what that means to be a business coach. But actually, what's different with me is I got started in the fitness business industry, coaching fitness professionals, and I drive profit in businesses. So this is actually like a bigger tale to tell. But in like 2015, 16, around this time, I began like coming onto Justin Devonshire's programs, really starting following him. He came from a fitness business background. And then I became a coach with his team. And so I got the pleasure and really interesting and exciting to work with a lot of fitness professionals. And funnily enough, the Profit First system we're going to talk about today has a lot in common with getting fit and healthy just for your finances.
No, perfect. Let's kind of just dive straight in, because I'm guessing a lot of people have read the Profit First book. Maybe they've taken ideas and they thought, you know what, it's a good idea, but maybe they're then not sure how to implement it to begin. So let's kind of start from the start. If somebody has read the Profit First, no, let's start another way. If somebody hasn't read the Profit First book, give us a little overview of what Profit First actually means.
Right. For those folks who haven't read it, basically accounting and like all your business numbers. People assume I'm a numbers guy, but I'm totally not. Of course, I can read your business numbers. I can read the accounts. I can talk with my accountant, of course, and I can see where hidden profit lies. But the problem is most of us as solopreneurs, as entrepreneurs, business owners, we tend to just look on our bank account, right, and make business decisions from that. So we got a gut feeling, should I buy this or not? Like, oh, I really want to purchase something, right, or really want to invest in something. So I take a look at my bank account, and if the number on there seems good enough, we buy, or we justify our expenses. And if not, well, or if it's good, but we have a bad feeling about it, we don't buy anything. We don't invest. And so this is basically management by bank account. Every accountant would scream at our face to never do that. But we are practical people. We are business owners. Of course, we do it like that, right?
I can actually put my hand up to that. It's like, oh yeah, we're suddenly in a really good place in the bank account. Let's go and buy a few new rowing machines, or let's go and buy a few new dumbbells. And then we spent all that money, and then some big bill comes in, and we're like, oh no. Like, so it's like you say, managing your money correctly.
Yes, and so this is basically the problem too. We know that the money on our bank account is not actually everything for us, right? There are taxes, there is a big bill coming. Well, maybe we should save something for bad days, rainy days, or to just get new equipment. But this is not what we do. It's like with food on our big plate. We see it, we see that money sitting there on that big plate, and we consume it all. We feel like we can consume it all, and if there's nothing left, like we are getting hungry again. But of course, in reality, this is something that can lead to, well, not so great emotions, right? It can lead to frustration, to overwhelm, to really scarcity, and then we are in trouble because we are making the wrong decisions for businesses, but also for, like, I don't know about you, but if I have no money on my bank account, I treat my wife differently. I treat my children differently. I have no time. I'm in my head, like I'm with my family, but I'm not. I'm with my business because of worries. I can't sleep at night. So this is really about lifestyle and making good decisions everywhere. And also, it would be great if we could pay ourselves what our work is really worth, right?
Yeah, and the flip side to that, like you say, when you have no money, you treat people differently because you're worried about money. But then when you do have the money, you also almost transition completely the opposite way, where you think you've got all this money. So now you can start purchasing different subscriptions and different things. And because you think you've got that money, but like you say, you're just trying to manage it correctly. Okay, so if we're managing money correctly, should we be using some sort of accounting software or something to manage it? Should we be forecasting months in advance? How should we be managing our money?
But I'm sure a lot of folks like that see that right now, that hear you like talking about forecasting, accounting, and so on. They feel like me right now. Ugh, I really don't want to do that. I really don't want to look into my finances or my numbers. And of course, if you're completely rational and logical, you should do that, right? But we are not. Like, we are running practical day-to-day businesses. So we are in certain kind of behaviors, learned behaviors. And what no other program or method out there does is working with our behaviors. Like, the easiest thing for us would be not to change our mindset and become a better business owner, a better entrepreneur, and do our finances right. The best, like what Profit First does, is to really work with our existing behavior, change a little, like tweak some things here and there, and suddenly management by bank account works. And so how do we get there? Like, how is that going to happen? Of course, this is like where we get into how all of this works and what we can do to change small things so our finances are aligned with how we go about our businesses. Like, it's not us, we are not wrong. The system is completely logical, but we are not logical. So how do we align that? And there's a way. We can change the system. We don't need to change us.
No, that's almost like the perfect introduction to the book. People that have maybe read the book, but they're still a little bit unsure. And now you're saying trying to match the system to us, not us trying to match to the system, because that obviously works better. We've got so much going on all our lives, coaching clients, bringing new people in, watching guest interviews like this. So you're trying to then do all this. So how do we start? Maybe if they've read the book, how do they start? If they've never read the book, how do you get started with this kind of system then?
Great question. Question I get all of the time because people read the book and then they never do something with it because it seems too complex. So to just start with all of this, and this would bring immense benefits, and it's so easy to do. Open up one additional bank account. This bank account is called Profit. This is called Profit First for a reason, because you take your profit first. Not as we tend to do it usually, profit is what's left at the end of the month. No, we say, okay, maybe I want to have 5% profit just for me. This is not my bonus pay. This is not like my salary for working in the business. This is my reward for having the business, for all this stress, for all this risk I'm taking, and for the responsibility I have. So open that one bank account and put, like, for example, 5% of profit, 5% of what you have right now on your bank account, put it there. This is your profit. And the best thing about this is this profit is just for you. We can talk about, like, this can be also part rainy fund, but it should serve you. For example, go on a vacation with it, right? Maybe it's not that much yet. Well, then treat your wife and yourself to a dinner. But this is your reward. And this is what all the big corporations do. Like, they pay their shareholders profit, right? And they know that this is the first obligation they have before anything else. So this is what you can do right now. Open up a profit bank account and pay yourself, for example, 5% of what you have right now in cash. Pay it on this account. This is the first step.
So mentally, that is you then taking that money out, putting it into a separate account, so you can only then work with what is left in the account. Is that the mindset behind it?
Yes, that's the mindset, because as we talked about the plate, right? So we tend to consume what's on that plate, on the bank account. So if we, for example, if we would have smaller plates, we put things away, we have smaller plate to consume. These will be less cost, for example. If we just allow ourselves 60% of all our revenue to be cost, like we put 40% away before we can ever pay someone, then we will find a way to make it work. We get very creative, actually. We get inventive. If we only, for example, the numbers are very individual for every business. But for example, if I always had 80% of my revenue paying expenses, we can drive it down, right? And we would try to drive it down over time, as in your own time. We would drive it down maybe to 60%, right? Maybe in a year from now, you have 20% more left for you, or for the tax man, or whatever. But things you don't have to scramble at the beginning of the year to pay your taxes from last year. How would that be? Or maybe to pay yourself a little bit more, right? So this is what we can do with that. Or, for example, eat your vegetables first, right? And who's the most important employee in your company, if not you yourself? So please eat the vegetable, and it tastes really good if you pay yourself first, actually. So, or put the money for the tax ministry. So how much percentages and so on, we don't have to talk about that yet. This is very individual, and also this is just get started. The perfect numbers we will get there in time.
Yeah, that's definitely, like you say, take that money out, because then if you've only got £500 to pay for all your marketing and everything systems that you want to do, you might go from ClickFunnels at £97 to lead pages, which is £47, and you've just saved yourself £50. So you've reduced that cost. Keep going. Someone coming in.
Yes.
Okay,
you
so
find
we've got the separate bank account and you've got a business account. They should also have their own personal account. They shouldn't be mixing their business and personal account together, no?
Yes, that would be great, because then it's also easier to, well, truly see what you're working with. A lot of business owners, I know that now by experience, but it's the same for all business owners. They don't like to take that first look into the accounts, into their numbers. It's just one time, actually, we need to take a deep look into your numbers and really find out, like, what is it really you can pay yourself, for example? How much expenses do you really need to pay? And so separate your personal bank account. It will be way easier. And then just transfer the set amount of percent. We work in percentages. Just transfer it into your separate account and it's gone. It's away. If we don't see it, we don't want to eat it, right? We don't want to consume it. Also, don't have the chocolate bars in your home if you want to get healthier, right? So let's try and get all the money that's actually for us, like the profit or our self-pay, or the tax, get it away. And so in the end, we only have like this business account just for operating expenses. And we can only pay our bills from that account. And so we should always try and pay our bills, of course. But if that's becoming hard, it's not bad. It's not your fault or you're a bad person. It's just saying you can't afford your expenses right now. So we just find a way, and that might be a challenge for some people. Like, how could I, I need all this stuff, right? Some people think like that. I need all those subscriptions. I need to pay my rent, of course, or I need new equipment, whatever. But we will find ways if we don't have the money. And you did always find ways if the money was tight.
Yeah, that's true. And most people do when the money is tight. They somehow miraculously manage to make things work. So I'm guessing as fitness business owners, then we should definitely be moving people onto a monthly subscription rather than getting them to pay for blocker sessions or pay per session. So we know then each month how much we have coming in, guaranteed no matter what happens.
Yes, it's definitely for many businesses, they should have like the subscriptions, because you can plan, because you actually prevent a common mistake fitness business owners make, which is like racking up their expenses when things are going good. They put on more expenses, and then maybe you don't sell that many sessions next month. But you can't drop your expenses that fast as when you just are left wondering, like, where are all the people gone? So memberships are great, subscriptions are great.
Okay, so we've talked about having these 3 separate accounts. We've heard in the past that people say you should always have 3 months operating cash available, stored somewhere. Is this like is there a truth behind it that we should always have a reserve pot in case we do come on bad times?
Definitely. So we just, I wanted to say we just come out of 2020, a certain recession, right? That hit every one of us. But we're not out yet. And we don't know how the next years will go. So if we had just 3 months of operating cash sitting somewhere, it would have been great. I would even advise more, but also, like, people usually, they say, okay, well, I'm just living months by months. I'm just surviving here. How should I ever get that much cash on the side just for rainy days? But this is what this profit first formula actually helps us to do, right? And maybe it's just a small amount we put aside for rainy days, but it's really helping us, for example, to just give us the time to pivot or to change things, think about what we should do with a challenge like COVID, and the gyms are all shut down. I don't know how it's in UK right now, but in Germany, everything's still shut down.
Yeah, in Wales, we're still shut down. I know in bits in England, there are certain areas where they can do a little bit of stuff, but Scotland as well is completely shut down. So if we're moving out of COVID now, the gyms are going to be opening in 4 to 6 weeks. How should we be looking at our finances moving forwards now, especially if we want to start and implement profit first moving forwards?
So the temptation will be to everything we get in to pay something from, right? Maybe we've racked up some bills, we have some credit lines somehow that need to get paid, or we want to invest in marketing to really drive everything forward and so on. So the temptation is to, again, consume everything we get in. But actually, this is the best time. Like, if you think of startups, why are startups so cash efficient when they're small? When they're getting bigger, usually not that much, but when they're small, because if you don't have that much money, you get inventive. So basically what you're doing with the profit first formula is, this is the nicest way to put yourself under pressure, to pay yourself first, to put money aside for the bad days, and to have just a little bit left, depending on your business size, for actual expenses. So you're getting healthier and fitter, and actually that not only drives your profit, it drives your healthiness and your growth. You can, by reducing your costs and like getting a handle on this, and it's intuitive, right? And you can drive your growth too, because you think twice, not only to do expenses, but also to do investments. Like, what is my investment, my return on investment on, for example, new equipment, or on Facebook ads, if I know how to generate leads, right? And if I generate leads and get some revenue in, a certain percentage of that, of course, can go to new equipment. But you start thinking differently about investment and expense.
Yeah, so it's like if someone pays you £100 each month, you know the percentages of that £100 gets a couple of percent goes to this, a couple of percent of that, a couple of percent of this. So do you have like an amazing spreadsheet that kind of calculates all this stuff, or can you literally almost do it on a pen and paper?
No, so we have a spreadsheet to do that, or just a table where you can also sort yourself in. It depends on your revenue. So, for example, if you have a revenue under 250,000 euros, for example, let's just do that per year, or pounds in UK, then what you usually be doing is you take 5% of that, put it in your profit. You take 50% of that, put it into your owner's pay. Now, that's not everything of your owner's pay, of that 50%. This is not everything you pay yourself, but also like a big, like a rainy day fund for your salary. So you can have the same salary every month, right? You can smooth that out. 15% usually go to tax, and so you are left with 30% of for expenses. Now, these numbers may seem crazy to some of us. I know, because they seem crazy to me when I first got started. I had like 70% expenses and 30% for myself when I got started with Profit First. And this is a pretty big difference. And the question here is like, this is a benchmark. right? This 30% expenses, 50% for owner's pay is a benchmark. This is what the healthiest top 10% businesses are making in the fitness industry. They reach those numbers. They are reachable, even if it takes you 3 years from now. Would it be worth it? You can answer that question, but it's reachable. And actually, do you want to have an extraordinary business, or do you want to have like people often say like this is not possible for my industry. This is not possible for the fitness industry. Well, it may not be for the usual fitness business entrepreneur, for the usual gym. It may not, but it is possible if you decide to take another route, to get another perspective.
Yeah, and that, I guess, then comes down to the actual business setup itself, the amount you charge per the amount of people you can have per session, per the amount you charge, you're paying for your trainers and all that type of thing as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and the fun thing is, it's like small little changes in how you manage your cash. They lead to so many good decisions coming from that, because you begin to think differently. It's like changing your perspective by 1%, and it changes your results by 100%, because you have to think a little bit different about how much you charge, how you set your business up, and so on. And that's great, because it's almost natural, because it really works with how we think already, instead of mindset work is great work. Like, just do it. Okay. That's also what we do as fitness entrepreneurs, right? As trainers, personal trainers. It's not about fitness for our clients. It's about mindset. It's about self-confidence, right? It's about all these different things. There's more. And this Profit First formula is the same. It works the same.
Yeah, I like something you mentioned earlier as well, that the profit doesn't always come by taking new clients on. You can actually increase your profit by not taking any new clients on, by not charging any more, but actually trying to figure out how you can reduce your outgoings. It's like you say, dropping subscriptions or changing your subscription setup or changing the software that you're using can actually increase the profit without actually having to take any new people on or having to charge bigger prices.
Yeah, because like we try and get new clients in all the time and more money, because we want more profit, right? So why not look at the profit right away and how to grow that? It works, but it's very counterintuitive.
Yeah, it is a confusing thing to get your head around, but I'm guessing once you get your head around it, it just makes it so much clearer to understand how to run your business more effectively, really, rather than just throwing money here, throwing money there, making decisions based on thoughts rather than actual proper results. Yeah.
Yes. So I can only recommend for anyone who hasn't done it yet, read the Profit First book by Mike Michalowicz, right? Or read it again, especially the first chapters. They are great, just to understand how this works, and how he has great stories in there. He's really a great storyteller, so it's easy to read. And it's also easy.
There's a new variation out, isn't there? There's a Profit First for micro gyms.
Yes, I can also yeah, read that too. It's great. I can only recommend it.
Perfect. Any final tips that you would recommend to anybody to finish off? Anything else maybe that we haven't covered or anything like that?
Well, it's basically don't be afraid. Like, this takes one look into your finances, and then you just look forward, right? But if you don't look into your finances at least once to implement Profit First, this will, like, the bad feelings, the results you would like to have, but you don't seem to get, this will stay with you for the rest of your life. And this is not what we should want. This is not what we should want for ourselves. We can take it for ourselves, but also our families, our clients. We will be different to our clients, with our clients, if we change our behavior.
No, Fantastic. So if people were interested to learn a little bit more about Profit First from yourself, or they just want to have a chat with you about this type of stuff, how can people get in contact or learn a little bit more about what you have to say, Daniel?
So there are two ways. Basically, we will be starting a Profit First online course soon. So this is around, I guess, May or something like that. Until then, you can first write me an email and ask me anything you ever wanted to ask, or just what the challenges are. My email for this is daniel@enterpriselab.co.uk. Okay, Daniel@enterpriselab.co.uk. This is one thing. And if you are interested in getting tips and news and having the first 2 chapters of the Profit First book by Mike Michalowicz for free, then you can get that under a link. I have to look it up. It's bit.ly/, let's see.
What I can do is I can just put the link below.
Right, great. So, but I have it here, bit.ly/Profit First 2 chapters. Okay, just type that in, and then you leave your name and email, and you get the first chapters for free.
Perfect. Daniel, appreciate your time, my friend. So that was Daniel here to talk about the Profit First formula. And yes, I know it's slightly confusing to try and get your head around the subject, but if you can implement it, if you can get this done right, you are going to have a much better financial outcome when it comes to your fitness business. You're not just gambling, you're not just hoping, you're not just guessing. It literally is written down, facts and figures, so you know what to expect, what to plan for, and what's actually going on in your fitness business, because you have total control. So it's definitely worth going back, having a watch again, making sure you take even more notes and start implementing this stuff. As usual, if you want to check out some of the other videos, make sure to click these videos here, or if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure to do that by clicking that big red button below. For now, I'll leave it there, and I'll speak to you all tomorrow. Cheers.